is the Brenda Lee Show. The Brenda Lee Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Brenda Lee Show. Hey, I want to talk to you guys today about vulnerability in leadership and why it is so important, okay? So I was dealing with a client last week, and I asked her permission to share all these details because it was just so amazing. And we've been working for a few months together. We did training for her company, and then they had retained me, and she wanted to, she specifically gets weekly coaching sessions with me as part of their retainer, among a few other people, but she's the head leader of this team, right? And one of her issues was that she was really kind of curt and brazen and a little cold in the way that she engaged with her team. And she knew it. She was like, I see that this is a problem. It's my personality, but I'm not sure how I can change this and change my engagement with the team. It was affecting the level of engagement that she was able to have with her team, right? And they weren't as close as she wanted to be. They weren't collaborating the way that they wanted to. They didn't trust each other. And she was feeling like this was one of the key areas in her life that she needed to shift in her leadership so that the team could get on board and come in alignment with her and be more loyal and be more productive and be more of a team, okay? Because one person, especially the leader, it radically impacts the way the team operates. Every leader, when there's dysfunction in a team, it's because there's dysfunction in the leader. It's not sorry, but that's fact, right? It's the same thing in our home with every team I've dealt with. When there's the one leader, all of the issues that are surfacing on the team lead back to the leadership, okay? And so leadership of themselves and mostly the leadership of the leader of the group. And we had multiple conversations about this and she knew. And so we've talked through it. Well, she had a conversation. She actually called me on 4th of July day. She called me on 4th of July day from the lake. She was like, I have to just tell you this. I was chatting with my family and I didn't realize how much this impacted me, how I'm so excited to go back to work. Like she had a conversation the week before with one of her employees. Well, actually, it was two of them. It started with one. It ended up with two. And it completely, her demeanor and the way she showed up out of all of our training and communication training and all that kind of stuff completely changed the way she showed up to that meeting. It could have gone south in a hurry. And she took all the tools, all the skills that I had given her. She had applied them in the meeting. And she even said, she goes, at one point, I even pulled my notes out of my drawer and I was looking at my notes because it was like, okay, remember these are the words that we use. This is how we communicate. This is listening to understand, not to solve the problem, right? Like she was very intentional about hearing everything that they had to say before she jumped into solution, right? And that was one thing that they couldn't stand. She's so smart. She's so incredibly smart. She literally is, she's probably 28 steps ahead of people every time they talk to her. And she was expressing that in the way she communicated. It was frustrating the people around her. So she slowed down and she's like, I just listened. And it totally changed the outcome of how the resolution. She's like, I've never had that good of a conversation with the employees. And as they went through the rest of the week, she's like, they're engaged, they're making more eye contact, they're popping through and saying hi, and they're now becoming a team and they're now working together as opposed to them trying to avoid her, them not wanting to talk to her, them not going to her with the problems or anything like that. She now was able to, she improved her leadership. As a result of that, she radically improved the dynamic of her team. Okay, and so I want you guys to think about like where in your life are you lacking intentional listening, right? We call intentional listening where, like I said, you're listening to understand someone. How many times when somebody's telling us something, are we listening, but we're actually trying to think of the answer, think of the solution, or we're trying to think of what we're going to say next, right? Well, when we're doing that, we're consuming our bandwidth over thinking about our answer instead of just being fully present for the person. When we're fully present, nothing in the world could rock you or shake you from being focused, laser focused on that person. People ask me all the time when I go in and I do team leadership development with teams for a couple days, they're like, how do you remember everybody's name? And listen, I used to suck at remember everybody's name. I used to suck at names. I used to be terrible. And then I heard this statement once. Somebody had said I think it was Jim Quick actually, the most important word to people is their name. People want to be known. They want to be seen. They want to be heard, right? And when you recognize them and I got a fly here going on. When you recognize them and you are intent on seeing them, right? And you see them for who they are and they share their name with you and you remember that, they feel so special. And I don't know about you, but I'm all about helping people feel like rock stars, right? That's my whole gig. That's my whole job on everything that I do. We get people to feel like rock stars, right? They're crushing life because they're finally tapping in to all the assets that they have within themselves that they didn't realize that they did. I just find them and I uncover them. That's all I do. That's all we do in training is really, if you want to boil boil it down to something stupid simple, that's exactly what we do. We get people to see their potential, and we get them to believe they can actually live that way. And it's not manipulation. It's not a joke. It's all there. It's all been there for them. They just have had so many things in their way that they couldn't figure out how to uncover and get to it. Well, that's my specialty, right? And so as she's dealing with this team, she's able to tap into this potential that she had, because we all have different parts, right? We can have a short, curt, cold part. We can have a happy-go-lucky, enjoyable part. The problem is those happy, enjoyable, receptive, approachable parts of her kind of got buried through some experiences that she had gone through. And so this cold, distant, protective part was what was showing up all the time. When she let those walls down and she was able to be soft and be kind and engage and be present with these people, like I said, it completely changed the way she engaged with her team. So it's just a killer story and huge transformation very quickly, quite frankly, with the way that the state of this team was in just a few months ago and the way that they are now. And so I really want to encourage you today, as you go through your day, how can you engage with people in a way that they feel fully present? You know, I don't care what your political party is, like, right? But this is how Bill Clinton won the election. He was so present with people. He could be talking to a janitor, right? He could be talking to a janitor and another freaking president could walk by and he wouldn't even disengage and check the other person that walked by. He would not disengage with that janitor right then and there. He was so locked and loaded, so present with that person, letting them know that they were his number one right then, right now at that moment. And it didn't matter who walked by. It didn't distract him. He didn't go flutter off to somebody else. He didn't ditch him. He was so present. And honestly, that's what people fell in love with Bill Clinton. He was so good at making them feel so important. That's what people want. They just want to be seen and heard. So how can you go through your day and engage with people and let them know that they're seen and that they're heard? All right. So that's your challenge for you today. And subscribe to our channel. Share this with somebody that you think might benefit from it. We'd love to see you in our Facebook group. It's Next Level Leaders with Brenda Lee on Facebook. We've got the YouTube channel. We've got everything, right? Guys, we're just trying to pour this out there for you so we can help you be the best leader that you can possibly be. All right. We'll see you next time.